Hello and welcome to the latest Prestige Offices podcast. We have recently completed an upgrade of the Prestige Offices website, adding a large number of London office buildings that offer high-end flexible workspace solutions such as premium managed offices, luxury serviced offices and first-class co-working spaces in line with the growing and evolving market. As part of the process, we conducted research into the history of the buildings and the surrounding streets and districts. As one might expect from a metropolis with a history that dates back millennia and has drawn people from all corners of the globe over time, we found a large number of connections between various countries and London, which could be explored. For instance, the area around Great Scotland Yard was, in the 16th century, a series of open courtyards within the Palace of Whitehall. It was lined with buildings used by diplomatic representatives of the Kingdom of Scotland and was essentially a Scottish embassy. In the 19th century, the area became the original headquarters of the Metropolitan Police Service of London. We may have explored the links with Canada and investigated the reasons behind the prominent positioning of the High Commission of Canada in the United Kingdom, known as Canada House in Trafalgar Square. Equally, we could have delved into the connections between Italian merchants in the City of London and their impact on the banking industry. We know, for instance, that Lombard Street is named after the bankers, merchants and lenders with connections to the Lombardy region of Italy. However, during this research exercise, we found a disproportionately large number of connections between Wales and London. In this podcast, we explore some of the links that we found between them. We discovered that Sir Hugh Middleton, a Denbighshire man, was the driving force behind the New River project. He obtained financial assistance from King James I for the ambitious engineering project that brought clean water into London in the early 17th century. The New River Company was incorporated by Royal Charter in 1619 and was then operational for 300 years. A plaque has been placed on a building in Ruthin in Denbighshire that was bought by Sir Middleton in 1595 and later became the Middleton Arms. At the time of recording this podcast, it had recently been announced that family-run pub company Stange & Co. had purchased that property and were in the process of breathing new life into the establishment. In the 1820s, the wealthy Middleton family had purchased the estate that was once the medieval Ruthin Castle. The estate evolved over the centuries, becoming a private residence and also a private hospital, and is now a luxury hotel and spa. We also learned about Sir Alfred Lewis Jones, a shipping magnate born in Carmarthen. During his career, he transported coal from Maesteg to vessel refuelling stations in the Canary Islands in the 19th century. The entrepreneur was dissatisfied with the economics of sailing empty ships back to Britain, so after establishing a relationship with the Fife family, he started loading them with bananas. These entered the UK through a dock in London that subsequently became known as Canary Wharf. We found out about Edward Lloyd, who founded what became the multi-billion-pound insurance marketplace, Lloyd's of London, from a coffee shop on Tower Street in the City of London in 1688. He had arrived in London in his early 30s, and although not much is confirmed about his early life, many believe he hailed from Wales. We enjoyed learning about David Lloyd George, who was raised in Llanys Tymdwy in Carnarvonshire and went on to become British Prime Minister from 1916 to 1922. Lloyd George is remembered as the statesman who led Britain to victory in the First World War. During his tenure at Downing Street, he was also credited with introducing state pensions and presiding over the momentous negotiations that led to the granting of independence to the south of Ireland. We learned about the physical links between Wales and London too. The A5 and A40 trunk roads, which link with Holyhead and Fishguard respectively, were important coaching routes used for the development of domestic and international trade. We discovered several other connections too. For instance, there is a Denbigh Road in Notting Hill and a street called Petty Wales near Tower Bridge, which is likely so named after the establishment of an early Welsh settlement. Another Welsh street name in London is Monmouth Street, which is one of the streets at Seven Dials in Covent Garden. It was named after the Earls of Monmouth, who owned the land in the 17th century. In the 19th century, Monmouth Street was widened to form the eastern part of Shaftesbury Avenue, and the name was subsequently lost. However, in the 1930s, the name reappeared through a street renaming exercise. The current street had originally been two separate streets. The thoroughfare north of Seven Dials was called Great St Andrew Street, and the thoroughfare south of Seven Dials was called Little St Andrew Street. During the renaming exercise, the whole street was renamed Monmouth Street. We also discovered that the iconic street Piccadilly may have Welsh roots. The road lies to the south of Mayfair between Hyde Park Corner in the west and Piccadilly Circus in the east. It is known that piccadills were made and sold on the street, and this is from where the street took its name. Piccadills were large, broad collars of cut-work lace that became fashionable in the late 16th century and early 17th century. There is some debate about the origin of the name, with some believing it comes from the Welsh word pica, meaning pointed. As you could probably tell, we thoroughly enjoyed discovering these connections between Wales and London, and we are sure that there are actually many others. We look forward to investigating the links between London and other locations in the future and bringing further podcast episodes about those.